Most people live in states which are heavily Republican or heavily Democratic. And unless you live in a state that's very closely divided, the presidential candidates pay no attention to your state.
All eyes are now on the battleground states.
The focus is instead on 3 general election battlegrounds.
Ohio, Pennsylvania, and the third one is Florida.
In a battleground state, both political parties have made a decision that they can win the electoral votes of that state by campaigning there and running TV and radio ads and having their candidates go to that state. In 2012, there were 253 visits made by presidential candidates. Virtually all of those visits were in the 10 battleground states. In the non-battleground states, which can number as many as 40 of the 50 states in this country. Well, what does that mean? It means both political parties have decided they will not spend a single dime on TV and radio ads in those states. No presidential candidate will visit those states, and issues important to those states, who cares?
Florida, Ohio, North Carolina, Iowa, Nevada. These are the states that decide.
Coming from a state like California, one of the things that we feel is that in presidential years, despite being the most populous state, we are an overlooked state.
The RNC setting up shop in Ohio, a key battleground state.
Ohio.
Ohio.
73 of those 253 visits were made to Ohio.
You know, I live in Ohio by virtue of being registered in Ohio. My vote counts way more than pretty much anyone else's in the country.
If you live in what we call a red state, and it's a very, very bright red state, and you are a Democrat, you say, why should I bother voting? My vote doesn't count. And by the way, if you live in a very, very red state, you might be a Republican, you say, I don't feel like voting this year, it doesn't matter, we're gonna win anyways, right? So it tends to diminish the number of people who vote, and that means you get also fewer votes for Congress and fewer votes for senators and governor and local elections as well.
It's craziness to think that we would be looking at our election of the president who represents every single person in the United States and reduce it down to the votes of 5 states. It means that the issues that everybody cares about, the concerns that are particular to states outside of those 5, are essentially set aside, and the particular priorities that emerge from those 5 states dominate the entire presidential conversation.